Hey guys, we are graphing an absolute value equation, okay? Cool thing about these, it's similar to parabolas if you have been graphing those. If not, that's okay. But when we graph these, we have what we call a parent graph, okay? If you were just being asked to graph y equals the absolute value of x, this would be what your graph would look like, okay? It's a V, the vertex is at 0, 0, okay? Now this graph is going to be very similar, but because of that -5 inside there and the -1 on the back, it is going to be shifted, okay? So it's not going to be at 0, 0, okay? So how do we figure out where it's going to be? Well, we look here, okay? So if there is a number out front, okay, then it does affect the graph. And I will link a video in the corner where there's an example of this, but I'm just going to explain it very quickly, okay? If that's positive, my V opens up just like the parent graph. If it's negative, it's going to be an upside down V and open down, okay? Also, if it's a number like 5, 6, 7, 8, it's going to stretch your graph. If it's a fraction, it is going to compress it, looking something like this, okay? The blue is that parent graph I showed you. You'll see the green has a 4 out front and you see how it's stretched, okay? And the red has a fraction out front and you see how it's compressed, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Doesn't apply to this problem, but I do think it's important, so I wanted to show you that really quickly, okay? All right, that is how that number that may be out front affects your graph. Now, for the H and K, that's any number being added or subtracted in here and on the back. That tells you where your vertex shifts to, okay? This one here tells you left and right, and you go opposite of the sign, okay? So when you hear -5, you might think, oh, to the left, but we do opposite of the sign. So with this -5, I'm actually going to move to the right 5, okay? And then the one on the back tells me up and down, and we stick with the sign on this one. So we are going to go down 1, okay? Oh, down 1. There we go. Okay, so my parent graph started at 0, 0, right? But this one, we're going to shift to the right 5 and down 1. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1. That is my new vertex, okay? And then as you graph these more, you'll probably be able to graph them pretty quickly. Some teachers at this point might just want to know that you know where the vertex is and that it opens up, okay? But if they want some more points graphed, we're going to do that really quickly, okay? So knowing that this opens up, I kind of want to know where it crosses my x-axis, okay? So to do that, I am going to plug in 0 for y, okay? So I'm going to have 0 equals the absolute value of x minus 5 minus 1, okay? Now, if you'll notice, this is going to be a V, right? So it's going to cross my x-axis in 2 places. So I should get 2 answers out of this. Let's see what happens. So to get x alone, I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So I get 1 equals the absolute value of x minus 5, okay? All right, if you need, I'm going to make those a little bigger so it doesn't look like a 51. There we go. If you need an absolute value review, if you're like, I don't really remember what those mean, I'll link a video for you in the corner, okay? But absolute value is asking for a distance. So they're asking, what is this distance from 0, okay? So basically, you can't have a negative distance. So I know that the absolute value of 1 is 1, right? And the absolute value of -1 is also 1. So basically, this x minus 5 could equal 1 or -1 to get me the right answer, right? So we're going to set both of those up. X minus 5 equals 1, and x minus 5 equals -1, okay? And then we're going to solve both of those down. Add 5 to both sides, and I get x equals 6. Add 5 to both sides, and I get x equals 4, okay? So when I plugged in 0 for y, I got 6 for x, and I also got 4 for x, okay? So there are my 2 points. So I'm going to go 6, 0, and 4, 0. Now, again, like I said, as you do these more and more, you might be able to even know that without doing all the math, which is, you know, can be a good thing. But now we're going to draw these lines, okay? So absolute value, like we said, is a V with these straight lines, okay? All right, we're done. I hope that made sense. If you need some more absolute value videos, I've got lots. I'll link a playlist for you in the corner. Thanks.